Oh, it's the Writers Roundtable, and we've got a great show for you tonight. Matt, tell them all about it.
Well, Seth, the NFL draft is quickly approaching, so who better to have on our show today than one of the most tapped-in experts on the NFL draft? I'm talking about Cody Carpentier, and who better to rival him in a verbal joust of academia and knowledge than fellow Players Lounge host Matty Kiwoom. We got two GOATs on the podcast today. We're going to talk about some rookie rankings. We're going to talk about the NFL draft. We're going to put on the GM hat, and we're going to fix the Denver Broncos. And we're also going to debut a new game that our friends over at HGTV have given us the green light to go ahead and play this week.
My guy Chip came through, man. Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's start the show. Except who messed this up? Who did it? I just found out how to do this. There we go. Welcome to the Writers Roundtable. Welcome, Cody. Welcome, Maddie. Thanks for coming on.
This table looks kind of square. What's going on here?
The square table. The writer's square table
doesn't quite have the ring, but we'll workshop. We can workshop a circular overlay. I don't think the folks over watching at YouTube are going to love that.
I think we need StreamYard to give us a new feature. We need to have round televisions going on here. But
there we go.
Anyways, Writers Roundtable, I appreciate you guys having us on. I'm looking forward to a good-ass show on this Wednesday night, boys.
Always have fun when I'm here. So, when I saw the invite, saw that Cody was on it, I was a little disappointed, but then I got excited again because I love coming on the show.
All right. Yeah. Well, like everything I feel around here at Player Profiler is getting spicy. So I hope you brought the juice tonight. So I'm sure you did. I know I won't be disappointed. But the first question to kick it off, Matt pointed out in the intro, NFL draft coming up. We're going to have boots on the ground here in Kansas City. And there are a lot of teams or a lot of receivers visiting teams prior to the draft, right? So which wide receivers do you think are going to fly up the rankings if they find that picture-perfect landing spot? And which receivers do you think are going to get that picture-perfect landing spot based on what you're seeing out there? And I'll start with you, Cody.
Oh, you're going to start with me. All right. Well, right now, I talked about this morning with Jay Rich, Ray G, and Scott Connor on the Wake Up with Ray G show. But right now, the open one is Cedric Tillman. Everyone's kind of aware that Cedric Tillman's rising back up the boards after a good 21 season. And then obviously Jalen Hyatt had a good 22 season, but Tillman outplayed him in 2021. So Tillman's obvious one. He made it into Lance Zierlein's first round in the mock draft. But Jonathan Mingo, after this Quentin Johnston ordeal the last couple of weeks, Mingo has risen himself up into this conversation because he might be the true alpha in this class at 226 pounds, coming out of Ole Miss. Who's that sound like? A.J. Brown, maybe? And he's looking like he's going to be a second-round pick at this point in the game. Now, going back to the Senior Bowl, did I think that was a thing, that he was going to be a second-round pick? No. Classified him closer to a third, fourth-round pick. And I didn't love him. He didn't have the best week. But throughout the process, he's put the weight, with the speed, with the workouts, with the interviews, he's put it all together. And that's what matters at this stage of the game, is hitting all those markers. So I think that Mingo is the biggest riser currently going through this whole pre-draft process. Paint the perfect picture landing spot. Is that what the question is? Oh, gee. I mean, anywhere that needs an alpha, really. I mean, you're talking about the Giants. I could bring up the draft board right now over at playerprofiler.com in the NFL draft section. I could tell you right now exactly where I'd like to put him in the second round. You talk about Tennessee. They got Treylon Burks. They already got an alpha there, but why not add another one, right? Why not add another one that's pretty athletic and runs in the 4.5s? I look at the Las Vegas Raiders opposite of Davante Adams. I think my favorite spot, though, if you can get somebody to go to, I think New England is a spot that depending on what they do at quarterback, depending if they keep that second round pick, if you could put an alpha there, because Devontae Parker right now is in that alpha spot right outside of Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, if Mingo goes there, I think he beats Devontae Parker out in due time, and that's pick number 46. I would love that draft capital for Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo, certainly one of the biggest risers that I've seen throughout the draft community. And I got to give you big ups, Cody. I don't always do this, but you've been on Mingo. You've been talking Mingo since the very first mock that you and I ran together. So, I got to give you your flowers when flowers is due, even when it is to you, sir. So I'm going to do that. I actually had two guys that with good landing spots I could see kind of shoot up the draft board or the fantasy board a little bit. The first one is Trey Palmer, 6 foot. 192 pounds, ran a 4.33 speed, 98th percentile, had an 88th percentile speed score, and his best comparable player on our website is Santana Moss. He was dominant in college, had over 45% college dominator rating, and a 32.6% college target share, so he can handle the volume. In 2022, 71 catches, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Kind of look at him as like an arbitrage Jalen Hyatt. So if he were to go to a landing spot that we kind of want Hyatt to go to, Hyatt's probably getting that first round draft capital. But if we get Trey Palmer going to a similar situation in the second, third, I could see him catapult up those rankings. And obviously, he ranked high on Cody's dog rating, so you got to give him some credit there. The landing spot that would get me going is Kansas City would be the LA Chargers. Second round would be okay. Now we're going. We're cooking with gas here. So I would be really excited about that. The next thing I'm talking about is a deeper sleeper, and Cody is going to definitely roll his eyes when I say this guy's name, because I've said it ad nauseum every show I do with this guy. But Andre Iosivas, small school kid. He had a rough Senior Bowl, but he bounced back in the combine. He's big, 6'3", 205 pounds. He's fast, 85th percentile 40-yard dash, 90th percentile speed score. He's got good burst, 88th percentile there too. He was the 6th most athletic wide receiver in this class. So when I say he bounced back nice at the combine, my man bounced back at the combine. And he has good catch radius, 96 percentile catch radius, so he's a QB's best friend. He was dominant in Princeton, which is what we want when a guy goes to a small school. And if you like Christian Watson, he's kind of like Christian Watson light. Both comparable to Denzel Mims, big, come from a small school. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he is obviously not as athletic as Watson. Watson got the first receiver taken in the second round. Iosivas is not getting that. He'll be lucky probably to get 4th or 5th round DC. So his landing spot really is not going to be great anywhere, because he's going to have to maybe see an injury or truly perform in the preseason to get some looks. But I do like the prospects of this kid, and he's someone that I'm rostering in deep dynasty leagues.
All right, we got to talk about what you just said with comparing him to Christian Watson. I know he's not dead, but Ahan Rungta just rolled over in his grave.
Listen, boys, go look at their player profiler pages, and you'll be shocked to see that they're not all that far apart in their percentiles in terms of speed, burst, catch radius. Obviously, Watson is better in those metrics. That's why he was the second pick or the first receiver taken in the second round, 202. Iosivas is not getting that. That's why I said light, boys. I didn't say beefed up. I didn't say the same thing. I said Christian Watson light. So hold your horses.
My
get ready for a little bit of excitement.
This is a Matt Kelly thing right here. You're listening to Matt Kelly too much, calling him Iosivas or whatever.
Iosivas, that's what you told me to say his name was.
No.
Yes, you did.
Iosivas.
See, that's the heel turn that I'm always talking about.
Heel turn. Iosivas. See, you're sitting here to Matt.
Whatever.
Matt loves saying these guys' names wrong. Roshan, Yokodofish, and Jameer Chase. Like she's like this is the Matty Kiwoom thing, right? Like Matty Kiwoom.
That is what
Andre
he does.
Iosivas, I think the athleticism is there, but again, for me, it was clear Christian Watson was a separator and a winner and an alpha down there at the Senior Bowl. And Iosivas, I wasn't really. I don't know. I didn't take anything away from him. He didn't excel where everyone came into the Senior Bowl. That was the conversation. It was like, oh, he's the next Christian Watson. Nagy said it himself, but he just couldn't separate. Now, maybe that's the cornerbacks were so much better this year. I don't know. But I think he's going to be an interesting guy late. The draft capital is definitely going to be the most interested to me. But sorry to derail your
No, you didn't derail me because honestly, the guy that got me on, how do you say it again? Yosivash. The person who got me on Yosivash was you when you put him in the 3rd round in your latest mock. Sometimes the funniest thing, Matt said, the funniest thing about Cody and I's dynamic is he always will rag on me about something about a player thing, and then when it comes back that I kind of learned it from him, he's like, oh shit. I'm kind of yelling at the man in the mirror here.
At the end of the day, it's fair to say that if he got 3rd round capital, he'd rise in the rankings fairly quickly. So I'll give you that. But I want to highlight a key difference in that a Christian Watson light and a Christian Watson. The difference is that the Christian Watson light doesn't break out and does in the NFL, because that signal is so important when you have that kind of profile that NFL teams actually think you're talented. Even a 3rd round pick, that could be a later 3rd, a compensatory 3rd that a team doesn't really care about. They got the thing for free. So, just to wrap up that nonsense, you mentioned.
Is this why you brought me on the show, Matt? So
yeah,
shit on me?
So that I can call everything you say nonsense. There can only be one Matt around here. Well, there can only be 2 Matts around here. Damn it, there can't be 3. Mention Jalen Hyatt. Who's the 3rd? Who's the fourth?
What if the Podfather comes on with Matty?
Well, it looks like Matt Babich is taking that night off, huh?
Yeah, I can't be here that night. Too many Matts, the universe implodes. Those are the rules. Anyway, reeling it back in, I want to talk about Jalen Hyatt. Matty, you mentioned Trey Palmer, who was one of my names I wrote down. Love Trey Palmer. He's only 1 spot below Jalen Hyatt in the rookie receiver dynasty rankings for Player Profiler. If he is the one who gets that picture perfect landing spot, and he's the one who gets a team to put their stamp of approval on him and say, I love Jalen Hyatt, I believe in Jalen Hyatt, is he not also, quickly rising the ranks? Is because if he falls to the Chargers in any sort of capacity, I'm taking him over Josh Downs. I'm taking over Rashee Rice, depending on landing spot, Mims and Jaden Reed. So we're talking about a 4 to 5 spot bump pretty quickly if he gets that draft capital and team combo. So I'm keeping an eye out for Jalen Hyatt. I know there's questions about, does he have a versatile route tree? Is he capable of running that? But there's some other receivers who we had questions on about that leaving college, and that didn't play out so well. So I'm definitely keeping my mind open on Jalen Hyatt. What do you think, Seth?
Well, I think I agree with you, but I can't stop thinking about Jonathan Mingo, if I'm being honest. And this is somebody, if you were paying attention to playerprofiler.com, paying attention to playerprofiler.com, and the second athleticism score out of all these, and the number 2 rank in the class. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. 4.46 40-yard dash at 6'1", 226. I mean, yeah, and then you look at all the teams, right? Like, this has been my new obsession. Like, who's visiting with who? Like, who's going to have these private meetings, right? So look at Jonathan Mingo. Steelers, Patriots, Ravens, Panthers, Falcons, Cowboys, Bears, all private meetings with this kid, right? That tells me he's going to get drafted a lot higher than people think, and that, probably in the 2nd round, if I had to guess. Bears have a lot of picks there, but we'll see. I think you guys have covered this all really well, but I mean, Jonathan Mingo, it has my eyebrows scrunched as far to the top of my head as possible. I'm very intrigued with him. Matt, what do we got next for these fellas?
Well, we talked about one player in Jalen Hyatt who might get 1st round draft capital out of Tennessee. And there's another Tennessee volunteer that has started to be mocked in the 1st round. He's visiting with the Saints recently. And there's a lot of questions on whether this player actually deserves 1st round draft capital. So we're going to start with Matty. I want you to tell me if Hendon Hooker is worth an NFL 1st round draft pick. And to supplement that, which quarterback is most likely to fall in the NFL draft that we're expecting to be getting some solid draft capital?
For Hendon Hooker, I do not believe he's worth the first-round draft capital. It does seem like he's going to get it as the drum beat gets louder and louder. But his best comparable player profiler, is Geno Smith. Geno was a lot more prolific in college than Hendon Hooker was, and he went 207. So just by that simple logic, I'm going to say no, he's not worth a first-round draft selection. And now which quarterback is likely to fall? None that we will be coveting in fantasy. It seems like a very QB-friendly type draft environment where we could see 5 guys go with round 1 draft capital. And after that, I mean, we're not really on anyone's radar anyhow, even in super flex deep leagues. So I don't really think anybody falls. Pregnant pause. Cody's thinking, this is scary. I'm getting nervous.
Is this
Knees
to me?
reach, arms are heavy. Vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's so nervous.
It was calm and ready
To drop
bombs on Jalen Hyatt, because Jalen Hyatt is not a bomb dropper. I don't know what that meant, but hey, I just want to say,
Dude.
I don't know. Did I get asked to answer something?
Yeah,
We're talking about Hendon Hooker.
We're going around the round table, man.
I know,
it's
but
okay.
ain't nobody say it. You good. Maddie
Well,
didn't say
no,
anything. I was like,
I
hey.
almost did. I almost, on another show, I came up with a haiku on the spot.
He did.
I almost had to come up with another haiku, like, "Hey Cody, it's." That's.
Well,
how
I didn't hear
screwed
shit.
it
I
up.
just heard Maddie end his take. I figured somebody else was gonna. I figured you'd maybe jump in at him or something. But
you
Hendon Hooker
should have,
being-
yeah. You should have just played it off like this. This is a thing that I'm doing. Like, this is a bit.
Yeah.
That's what you
Shoulda,
should
coulda, woulda.
But
But comparing Hendon Hooker to Geno is a clever thing, right? Geno, second quarterback in his entire draft, taken with EJ Manuel. So I really wouldn't use that as a comparison, from being quite frank, because that, I mean, you look back at those couple years of drafting, it was an entirely different ball game, even though it was just 10 years ago. I do think he's comparable to Geno Smith in the sense of his NFL pro play style. Hooker, do I think he deserves to be a first round pick versus do I think he will be a first round pick are two different things. Do I think that the talent is there to be a first round pick? Potentially. But again, he's going to be 26 before he ever, 26 and a half, maybe 27 before he ever takes a snap in the NFL. But do I think that, when you take those things into account and the Josh Heupel offense that's down there, it's similar to the old Baylor offense where there's never been a quarterback that's really made it to the NFL. You remember like the Bryce Petties and shit. And I can't remember who I was listening to. I think it was Michael Lombardi, and he was mentioning the difference between this offense and the Alabama offense and shit like that, and bringing it to the NFL and how it takes time and how it doesn't easily correlate for quarterbacks specifically. Now, when you compare that to Hooker's age, so right, you're bringing in two things. One is it doesn't translate easily, and two is his age, and three is saying he's just not a first round pick. But I think in two worlds where you bring him in and you draft him in round 1, you're covering yourself from those last couple years where you're going to get that 5th-year option so you can see what he is. Kind of like what Jordan Love is right now. Jordan Love has just sat there. I'm not saying that Hooker's going to, but if Hooker goes to New Orleans or Detroit or Tampa, like those are places where he can sit for that first year 100% or potentially come in early if he's healthy and take over that job. But I think you're under the pretty much the same understanding. It's going to take him a little bit of time just because of the change in pace of offense. But yeah, I think there's a world for him. We're doing a mock right now. Me and Maddie are over on the executives on patreon.com/the executives. I just took Hooker at 29 to the Saints. I didn't know that he visited with them recently, like you just mentioned a minute ago. So that's very interesting because I think 29 is a good spot. In my comments, I literally just said, I'm sorry, Derek, but this isn't your last destination. Like Derek Carr is going to be on his way some point somewhere, right? It just feels like that's the kind of the realm he's going into. But the one thing that I did want to mention a minute ago before we jump into Hooker, and I'm only going to bring it up because it has to do with Hooker, and that's Jalen Hyatt. Matt, I want to just stay in the same conversation, but bounce it back to you and say, how much do you think Hooker helped Hyatt this year? Hooker's arm talent downfield. How much do you think that helped Hyatt? Because it sounds like you're higher on Hyatt than I am. Do you think that there's a world where Hooker can elevate and be, I don't know, did I say Hooker? A world where Hyatt can elevate and be one of the best receivers in this class?
I don't necessarily think we're that far off on Hyatt. I think that, to answer your first question, that I think Hooker's downfield arm talent was definitely a beneficiary to, or Hyatt was a beneficiary to Hooker's downfield arm talent. We talked about, there's a tweet, I think it was from one of the Roto Underworld accounts, that said, he can only do one thing, but he does it pretty damn well. And that's get open downfield. So yes, if he's paired up with a quarterback that can't throw the ball downfield, where he doesn't have 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, my opinion on Hyatt was more of, if there's a team that's willing to go out on a limb, let's say it's the Chargers, and say, we want this guy to be our deep threat, the guy who everybody on this offense is talking about, he's going to rise up the rankings a few spots in Dynasty. Maybe not Player Profilers Dynasty rankings, but consensus Dynasty rankings. In fantasy, when push comes to shove, if I'm actually going to bet on his profile, and draft capital and landing spot have a lot to do with it, but so does talent. So I'm not necessarily saying, he's going to have a better career than Marvin Mims or anything like that. But his value post-draft is certainly going to rise if he gets a really friendly landing spot in the first round. So I'm not totally sold on Jalen Hyatt's talent, just trying to make the argument that we might see a climb as we start this offseason if he does get a friendly landing spot. And those are the types of profiles that cause the tension in the offseason. Are you fading Hyatt at the Chargers, or, Herbert's deep threat, his speedster that he's got? There's going to be two camps, and it's going to be a really interesting argument should Hyatt get that first round draft capital to a good landing spot.
I want to take a minute and acknowledge the chat. We got a lot of guys in here tonight. We appreciate you all. Harry Snowman, Aiden Beats Bets. I'm probably going to pronounce that wrong. There's the Harry Snowman again. Ahan thinks this is the sexiest writers roundtable of all time. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, come on. We got Matty Kiwoom in here. I mean, come on. DK reference. Let's see. All right. I think that's about it for the comments. If I can find it, we're trying to be a little bit more professional around here. All right. So I'm going to sneak in an ad. All right. Hang with us till the end of the ad, and we'll be right back with some awesome conversation around rookies and dynasty. But here's a message from the Podfather.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free, and one of our key missions is to make as much statistics and information and deep analysis available on playerprofiler.com for free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In package to continue to make all this possible. If you can't do All In, that's okay. We have a draft kit. Or you can just subscribe to the player rankings. Those now include tight end premium FFPC ranks. Our brand new data analysis package will blow your hair back. And of course, there's our Dynasty Deluxe and our DFS Dominator. Take a moment, check out our premium services to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.
All right. So, promo code Seth, by the way, for the all-in package to save $10. All right. Next question. Tim Patrick, our guy, Tim Patrick, is fully cleared. And this weirdness around Jerry Jeudy, is he going to get traded? Is he not? We don't know. Cortland Sutton, again, same story. What should the Broncos be doing with their receiving core? If you were in charge, Cody, what would you be doing with this whole situation?
I love Tim Patrick, but Tim Patrick is not what Tim Patrick was 2 years ago, right? I once called him West Coast T. Higgins. I actually called T. Higgins East Coast Tim Patrick. I think he kind of fit in that same realm. I think I prefer the East Coast Tim Patrick.
It's
more.
like Biggie Smalls or the other guy. I don't know. Like it's like
T. Higgins.
Anyway.
Oh, it fits in the same ballpark, but I once loved Tim Patrick. Seeing him fully cleared, it excites me, but there's a different coaching staff, but there's a different quarterback. So a lot of things have changed. I'm assuming Tim's probably going to end up being cut at some point this summer. Now, Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, What would I do if I was an NFL general manager? First off, I wouldn't own either of these guys on my team. I would traded them 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I wouldn't have drafted them, things like this. So being Sean Payton, or being the projection of Sean Payton, what I would do is I would move on from them as fast as possible, and I would get exactly the players that Russell Wilson wishes to throw the ball to. So if he wants a big guy like DK Metcalf, that Cortland Sutton is not, he does not have that 4.3 speed at the 6'4", 225 pounds, then I would go and try and find somebody like that. If it's some donkey in the draft, like a Bryce Ford Wheaton, who maybe isn't the best receiver, but he's a hyper athlete that maybe Russell Wilson can teach the ways of DK Metcalf. Or maybe you're looking for a route runner from this draft class, and I say, all right, well, who's maybe close to a Jerry Jeudy? Maybe an A.T. Perry, somebody that's a good route runner, or maybe a Jordan Addison or something like this. You go out and get people like that. And I'm just going for things that I'm trying to remember what Russell Wilson likes and what the surroundings are like. Also, you remember Sean Payton's offense always had some type of speed in it, whether it was a Tommy Lee Lewis or a Ted Ginn or whatever it may be. That would be my I guess if I was the general manager for the Denver Broncos, how I would control the receiver room.
What do you think, Matty?
If I was the GM sitting, trying to build this team, I'm not really too excited to move any of those three receivers. Now, if Russell Wilson is coming up saying that, listen, I need to get my DK or Tyler Lockett type. I need different receivers. I can't work with them. That's a totally different ballgame. But assuming that's not the case, because even though Jerry Jeudy and, Patrick Cortland Sutton are rumored to possibly be traded, they had pretty good seasons when they were on the field with Russell Wilson. It was Russell Wilson that truly had the really bad season. What I would do is keep the three, because I think it's a really good mixture of downfield threats. Jerry Jeudy can kind of run the gamut in terms of his role. I think the three of them kind of have a pretty good passing attack. And I would add to that, because KJ Hamler seems to never stay healthy. So I would try to get like a Charlie Jones or Tank Dell in the draft, kind of that speedy slot type for my wide receiver 4. And then that gives me kind of my alpha volume type in Jerry Jeudy. I'd have my two downfield threats, Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton. Both of them can kind of go get those 50-50 balls, stretch the field. And then a Tank Dell, Charlie Jones. They are good in the slot. They're small. They kind of run those roles, but they're also fast too. So you can deploy them in other ways to kind of get some more dynamics on your field. And then you have two good tight ends. So now you're really trying to cook with gas. And Sean Payton, this would be kind of, I think, the golden type of move, considering what they have and what their flexibility can be this late in the game.
That would make a lot of sense for Sean Payton to kind of come in and then have the Broncos be ran the same way the Saints are ran, in which they don't care about the cap or what their contracts are valued at next season. When you look at the value of their contracts, it's going to be tough for Sutton to get traded. Because of his $25 million dead cap this year. But if they can find a partner who's willing to take on a bloated contract, the Broncos save $14.4 million in cap space. That's a lot of money. And for a team that needs to put all the pieces together they can right now, that's some valuable cash. And then Jerry Jeudy, he's owed $13 million if they select his team option next year. And if they don't, then they're letting him walk and getting him for nothing. So realistically, if you're GM, even though it might give you the biggest short-term hit in terms of your receiver room production and talent, you have to get rid of Jerry Jeudy. You have to find a player. He's still on his rookie contract. He just had one of his best seasons. And if he doesn't go up this year with the coaching change and Russell Wilson maybe improving, maybe not, you're not getting a lot of value out of him mid-season if he's not having a good year. So you're either committed to extending Jeudy or you're getting value out of him now. I'm not sold on Jerry Jeudy personally, so I'd be looking to move him. If I can get a late 2 somehow for Jerry Jeudy, sign me up. A 3, and that's really tough to call, whether or not you want to take a gamble in the draft or not. That's a draft day type of decision on who's on the board, but Sutton, you might be stuck with him. That you can cut him and leave him after June 1st if you really want to move away from him. But I'm not sure an NFL team's going to want to take that contract. So I like what Matty's saying, because they are, they did produce there. They have kind of worked well together. But I want to lean towards more what Cody's saying, which is you should probably just move off of these assets as soon as you can. It makes them worse in the short term, but if they can figure it out. Go ahead, Cody.
How I was just gonna say, we just said the cap hit. So it looks like the cap hit this year for Sutton is 6th in the NFL with $18 million, which is outrageous. But you said Jeudy was, what would you say, 13?
13 next year if they take the team option.
That's next year, you said.
Yeah.
So this year he's sitting at 4, even like 13. So the way I'm trying to rationalize this, and my thought, I hate Jerry Jeudy, and then my idea was I would have never owned him, right? Or I would have traded him already. But what are your thoughts on so it looks like per Spotrac he's 44th in cap hit in 2023. Like at that point, I don't hate it, right? He's right between Jeudy and Drake London, who's on a rookie deal, right behind London and Juju, I should have said. But then you said that 13 million. That 13 million instantly brings him up to 13th, right next to DK Metcalf. And at that point, I'm out. Right. The 4 million is not bad, but the 13 million, I think you start getting into an aggressive area.
I guess my only pushback on this whole Jeudy thing is, what are you going to do to replace him? Are you just going to have a 34-year-old quarterback without his best receiver, a second go around? Okay, so you're willing to potentially
I'm going to draft
this year and then draft.
Yeah.
Or
I'm going to draft
the late second. I like when Matt was going the late second, because the late second you are going to be able to get a talented receiver. So I do kind of am on board with that a little bit.
Someone brought this up. I can't remember who the hell it was, but they said if you look at what Chase Claypool drew, which ended up being the 32nd pick in the draft, are we all in agreement that Judy's better than Claypool?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just about ready to bring that up. Because I think that the market for receivers, I think, Denver's been pretty adamant about getting a first this whole time for either Jeudy or Sutton. So my question to you would be, Kansas City's sitting there at 31, right? They need a Juju Smith-Schuster replacement. Jerry Jeudy seems like he could do that and would be pretty effective in that system. If
you can't trade
I know
we're like that, you can't do that. Yeah. Sean Payton's not going to want that.
Not even for pick 31.
If
you're trying to get rid of that contract,
it's enticing, but Sean Payton's not going to want to do that. His first year in town, let me just give the best team my best offensive weapon, possibly. I don't think he's going to want to do that. But the logic's there. I do understand. Pick 31 is pretty damn valuable.
Yeah,
I think you're being a little aggressive on the best receiver. Giving him my best receiver,
he's the best receiver.
Different.
He's the best. Just
I know, but
what
I'm saying is best receiver is context, right? The context is Justin Jefferson's my best receiver. Jerry Jeudy's my best receiver. But let's
all right. Your personal vendetta against Jerry Jeudy shouldn't be smeared across all of our opinions.
Ooh, glad you said that.
So
15th overall draft pick. Yeah, this guy's not terrible.
Congrats. That was like 4 years ago.
He's pretty not great.
He was supposed to be a route technician.
Listen, guys. Last year he had 972 receiving yards in Russell Wilson's worst career. This guy's not chopped liver here.
He's supposed to be a route technician.
19th in fantasy on a points per game basis. I'm not sitting here saying he's Justin Jefferson, but there are a number of teams he'd go to and be their best receiver. No doubt about it.
Matt,
I think a number. Yeah, I don't know if the number is very big. It might be a small number, and Denver being one of them. But
I'm from New England. He would be the best receiver here.
He had 900 yards, but he hasn't been able to carve out a significant opportunity share. He's finished outside of the top 45 in route win rate in the last 2 years. 34%, number 88 total. 29.5%, number 78 versus man last year. Reception perception god Matt Harmon is on Twitter talking about how he doesn't even like Jeudy, and this is a guy who watches every receiver play every snap of football that we know. And that was a glaring signal researching it today, because I was like, am I lower on Jeudy than I should be? Because he's dynasty receiver 23, which feels ridiculous. And I did my research, and I am confident in my take that Jerry Jeudy is not that good.
Well, I don't know how he became the Jeudy guy here, because I'm not any bit Judy's number one cheerleader here, but I just think that all of a sudden you're going to act like this guy isn't their best receiver, isn't a solid receiver. He was the 11th in dominator rating last year, so he was dominant on his team, and his team had a bad quarterback, but he still did it. 13 on fantasy points per target, 14th on expected points average. He was 11th in production premium. This guy's not terrible. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm willing to give out my entire draft for Jerry Jeudy, but to just be like, oh, he's an asset, let's just get rid of him for nothing, and like let's just not be as good. That is not how I think the Denver Broncos should go about it. Let's just give away our best offensive weapon. Like, yeah, is he great? No, I'm not saying Jerry Jeudy's the savior of the Denver Broncos, but to take a new head coach on board like Sean Payton, to have a 35-year-old quarterback you traded the farm for, to then just be like, oh, let's just piss away our best receiver, it seems kind of goofy.
John Elway was the guy who drafted.
Oh yeah, well that guy's
Jerry Jeudy, and he doesn't have a job with the team anymore. I don't know if you know this, but.
You know how bad you have to be to get fired from the team you were a legend on,
he won a Super Bowl as a general manager too.
Fair.
He brought in Peyton Manning. So I think this screams draft day trade to me, because I think they're in the market to trade one of these guys. It makes sense, but they're just kind of waiting around to see if they can get that first round pick. And it's going to be tricky to get like a late first. I think an early second makes a lot more sense. If you want the return on the value. But yeah, if Chase Claypool's going for it ended up being pick 32, you're getting at least that, I would think, at least a second for Jeudy.
Yeah.
For sure. So I think they're playing it slow and smart and seeing what they can get for him, and we'll see what they can do.
You want to know the problem is he might be the best weapon. He might be the best receiver in Denver, but can you name 3 teams that he would be the best receiver on? The Giants? Okay.
Yeah. The
Right.
Patriots.
Can you name another one?
Hey,
The Patriots.
You would definitively take Juju you would definitively take Jerry Jeudy over Juju.
For sure I would. And I do like Juju, but I would take Jeudy over Juju. I think he's a younger, probably has a little bit more left in the tank than Juju. But yeah, it's close, but I would take him over him for sure.
Fantasy. Is that a fantasy take, or is that I thought we were rebuilding.
I'm a fantasy. I think everything basically through fantasy, through those lenses. Yeah,
okay.
That's kind of how I would do it.
Because I thought we were rebuilding the team. That's why I was asking in that context.
Yeah, well, I only know how to build in fantasy. I'm not you know what I mean? That's just how my brain always goes there. But even on the football field, if I as a Patriots fan, if you were telling me I could wake up tomorrow with Juju or Jeudy on my team, I would say Jeudy.
Okay, so you got the Giants and you got the Patriots. Maybe would you take him over Nico Collins?
Yep,
definitively.
Okay,
Treylon Burks.
No, I would rather Treylon. I think it's a little bit higher ceiling with Treylon. Carolina, he was a receiver in Carolina.
Really? You guys agree with that?
I think he would. I do.
Come on, guys. Don't be take locked here.
I do as well.
I
don't even like the
if Thielen was even 28, I'd be on Thielen, but Thielen's 132 years old.
Yeah. All right. Well, real quick, rapid fire. What are the chances Eagles take Bijan at number 10? I would say they better not. I wouldn't, but
whoa.
0%. He's going where the Falcons.
I was gonna say I think I know where this guy's going with it.
Yeah. Arthur Smith can't help himself.
Oh my! So the Falcons would take Bijan?
Eagles ain't even gonna have a chance at Bijan. He's gone at the 8th spot.
God! It would be the most. How many things can we do to Kyle Pitts? How many? How many things can we do?
We'll
trade them all, baby.
We'll trade for another tight end. We'll draft a running back in the top 10. Kyle Pitts. Why did they draft this guy if they go with Bijan?
It's a great blocker. It's good, locker room personality. You got to secure your run blocker at the 4th overall pick. That's what they always say.
That's a good one.
It's just usually like a tackle or somebody.
Oh man, I hope Kyle Pitts can run block. All right, Matt. I think we've got enough energy for this segment.
We're building. we've built the energy. I really hope that we have some separating takes for this because it can get even more spicy. We're going to debut a little game here for the avid listeners. They know that we reference HGTV a lot more than normal fantasy analysts do. So we've come up with a little game called Love It or List It. And yeah, that's the exact name of an HGTV show. We are going to name some players, and Matty and Cody are going to tell us if they love them and they're going to be adding this player to their dynasty rosters this season, or if they want to list them and they are going to be trading this player away this season in dynasty fantasy football. So we're going to start with Matty. Running back for the Denver Broncos, Javonte Williams. He is listed at RB20 on the Player Profiler Dynasty rankings. Matty, do you love him or do you list him?
I'm listing him. I'm going to list Javonte here. It really goes around that knee injury. Now, I will give the little caveat. If you are a contender, I'm for sure listing him. If I'm looking to rebuild or slow playing the season, I'm more likely to hold than to get rid of him. But I'm pretending to be a contender here. Why not? It's more fun. So I am listing it because I think that injury is going to linger, and you're not really going to get much return on that player until midway through the season at best. So I'm listing.
What about you, Cody?
I'm gonna love it. I love it. I'm gonna take Javonte Williams at what is he, RB20 right now?
RB20.
I'd take him over a handful of these dudes. He's 23 years old. Now, does that mean that I'm looking to I think part of what Matty was saying was right. I'm not looking to play with him this year. Like, my teams that I'm going to have him on are not going to be teams that I'm expecting to win in 2023. If I'm looking to maybe do a startup this year and I want to build with value, I'm starting with Javonte Williams, 23 years old. 20th in the dynasty rankings right now. I'm looking at him in his J.K. Dobbins season. I think the community is a lot more ahead with the Javonte knee injury than we were of the J.K. injury a year ago. And then I'm looking at 2024. And I think 2024, the second year of Sean Payton, the third year of Russell Wilson, and a healthy Javonte Williams, and Samaje Perine will be retired by then. It'll be Javonte's backfield, and you'll have a little speedy dart in the backfield next to maybe like a Devon A-Chain that doesn't do shit or mean shit, and Javonte's going to be him. And we're talking about right back up into the top 6 or 7 in the dynasty rankings.
Love it. Yeah, I think he's this year's J.K. Dobbins. I think you said it right. So I think if you're a rebuilding team, you're loving it, and if you're a contending team, you're probably trying to see what win now pieces you can get for him while still keeping that machine going with younger players and picks and all the dynasty strategies that we know. So I'm going to steal Cody's answer, Matt, if that's okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we came up with a game with 2 options and 4 players. So we are going to have some really good answers. That is okay. I, though, am going to make it a tie here because I'm going to list Javonte Williams. With his athletic profile, he's going to, and he's got that. He blew out his knee. I mean, ACL, LCL, PCL. It was week 4, so not too far in the middle of the season. He should be ready by the end of training camp, mini camp. He should be fine for this year. But is he going to be fine this year? We saw what Saquon Barkley did the first year after his injury. Not a lot of running backs, unless you're a superhuman freak, are capable of delivering after such a serious knee injury. Now, at RB20, I'm looking at the Player Profiler Dynasty rankings, and I think my biggest decision maker here was just looking 3 spots down and saying, okay, just based off of this, and I know this is not everybody's Dynasty rankings, but if I could trade Javonte Williams and get Roschon Johnson plus, even if it's just plus a little bit, I'm doing that. I'm doing that every day of the week. I know they're close in age. Javonte hasn't necessarily proven too much besides the fact that he can't separate from a Melvin Gordon that soon got cut. So I'm just not fully settled on Javonte Williams, and I completely understand the argument for his upside, and I think it's a very valid argument. I think I'm just willing to ship it off to somebody who believes in it more than I do.
Well, the tie has been broken because Sam Babich is listing it, so
The definitive answer.
Yeah. So anyway, We do have before we go on to the next player, real quick, and that I clarified this in the chat. Single quarterback. What is Tua's value in an FFPC dynasty league? And those FFPC leagues are tight end premium. It doesn't really apply to this, but what do you guys think?
I mean, are you trying to buy him or are you trying to sell him? Like, that's my question, because I'm not doing either because I don't have any. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask about Tua's value because I don't have any, never have. But whatever you can get is what I would take.
I can't argue with that. 1 QB, I'm surprised he has any value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean,
exactly. Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know if you can get much for him. He's a starting quarterback right now. I don't know what your other quarterback options are. So he doesn't do much for me in a single QB for sure.
I see a couple trades. I'll ask you these trades, Seth. So these are Superflex PPR. They're in the Player Profiler Trade Finder. You can find that in the Dynasty Deluxe. Tua and Dogwater for the 104 and the 304.
The 104 in a single quarterback?
Did he say single? I thought he said Superflex.
Yeah, single.
Oh, yeah, single quarterback.
Oh, and even in a Superflex, I think I'm taking that deal. But being honest,
Yeah,
is that the one?
yeah.
Is that the one?
Dogwater, you mean Romeo Dubes, right?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah, sure.
You said Dogwater.
Dobbs.
I didn't know.
We gotta change.
Can't be
Did
throwing
we
out nicknames without context here.
Did we
Yes,
change
yes,
that?
yes.
Did we change that on the website already?
That's like bad running back for Clyde.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Dogwater.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one QB then. Tua for Calvin Ridley.
Give me Ridley for sure.
Yeah.
Tua,
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
Daniel
Jones.
Jones. The Daniel Jones. All
Tua,
day.
the 107, and next year's first.
Wait, Tua and the 107 for next year's first?
Oh
No.
No, those
Tua?
three assets is for something.
Who are you getting back? Who are you getting back here? Tua, the 107, and the 2024 first. Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Jalen Hurts. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
In 1 QB, give me Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, in one QB.
Jalen
Jalen
Hurts.
Hurts.
He's a difference maker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
All
look so
right.
sure, Cody.
I love that. I love
Oh, okay. You look like you might be
Tua-
agreeing with us.
Tua-
Ahan with the quickness. Love it, Ahan. I love it.
Oh, wow.
Trash by Loa.
All right. Next player, Matt.
All right, next player, we got a quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. He also has a knee injury, so we got two people coming off knee injuries here. We have Kyler Murray. Maddie, we love and are listing Kyler Murray.
Superflex, I'm loving. 1 QB, I'm listing. Because I think this is your opportunity to get a top 8, top 5 dynasty quarterback at some sort of a value given the injury. So in Superflex, I'm definitely loving it.
Good call on the distinction. We'll just go both 1 QB and Superflex and just kind of touch on both.
Cody.
Superflex, I'm listing him. Superflex tight end premium, I'm listing him. 1 QB, I'm listing him. PPR, I'm listing him. Half PPR, I'm listing him. Keeper leagues, I'm listing him. Rookie drafts, I'm listing it. Everywhere, I'm listing him. I don't want him.
Are you
Get out
listing
of
him
here.
or? Are you listing him?
Get Kyler Murray out of my face. Give me Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and a second-round pick for him. Give me whatever you want to give me. Give me a third-round pick this year for him. I don't care. I don't want Kyler Murray, right? I think that Kyler Murray's fallen into this depths of the Derek Carr, right? I think we're a few. This big contract though. He's locked in Arizona. Is he though? Derek Carr had a big contract for a little bit. Is he though? Like he's gone, right? I tweeted out a couple hours ago about New England potentially trading up to 3 with Arizona, and in that package would send Mac Jones to Arizona directly into Kyler Murray's face with a first-round pick, right, to get up to 3, and they take Anthony Richardson. And I think that something like that could really tilt Kyler Murray, and I want to get out now. I want to get out quick. He tore the ACL in December. I don't think he shouldn't play it down in football in 2023, and that only further deteriorates his value, I think, for me in Dynasty. So I'm getting what I can now for people that think that Kyler Murray's still that guy. Yeah, good. I'm moving on. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I've never been. You don't think the Mac Jones is going to go back to where where the coach wanted him in the first place, and that's why they traded up? You don't think Mac Jones and Kyle Shanahan and Bill Belichick are exchanging late night phone calls trying to get Mac Jones over to San Francisco.
Is Lance going the other way?
Yeah.
I'll go to Foxborough myself and figure out what needs to be done to get that to happen.
What do you think? What do you think of those apples?
Uh-oh.
You heard it here first. Seth Diewold. That's gonna happen.
So Seth, are you loving or listing Kyler Murray? Let's get down to
Oh. I have to talk about Kyler Murray. I don't like Kyler Murray at all, really.
Nobody likes Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I don't like his contract. I'm listing him. I don't know what I can get for him though in Superflex. I'm looking at the trade finder right now. So you playerprofiler.com Dynasty Deluxe promo code Seth. And okay, all right. I'm not seeing anything really juicy that I want. All right, Kyler Murray and Cole Kmet for a 2026 first. Get out of here. What are these trades? How are you trading 2026 first? Anyway,
yeah.
here's one.
Arch. That's Arch Manning.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Forgive me. So here's a good trade. Patrick Mahomes. You're getting Patrick Mahomes, and you're giving up Kyler Murray and 2023 firsts. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yes.
I would do that in a heartbeat. So yes, I'm listing Kyler Murray.
Oh.
If that's the going rate for Kyler Murray, I'm listing him as well. Holy shit! Of course.
Yeah. That's Anyway, I saw that. There's a bunch of a lot of convoluted. I can't. It's probably me. It's probably user error. But we have like Kyler Murray for Ken Walker in a Superflex. I think I'd take Ken Walker. I think it depends. Well, you're probably not getting Kyler Murray much this year anyway, like you said.
How about this messy one? Kenny Pickett, 212, 412, or Kyler Murray?
Oh Lord,
no. I'm not a Pickett guy.
Can't do that. I can't do that.
Not a Pickett.
I think I'd hang on to Kyler for that.
You guys tricked me to backing up Jerry Jeudy. I ain't backing up Kenny Pickett.
Good to know that Matty has a line. He's drawn it.
What if I promise you?
He's put up a picket fence.
Yes, I can still see through it.
It's like that guy in Home Improvement. He's got the eyes right over. Yeah.
I guess I'll be the one to give a little bit of a Kyler Murray. First of all, what did Kyler Murray do to garnish this much hate? I mean, he's always smiling.
Have you seen Hard Knocks? He was the most unlikable guy in the whole show.
No, I did not watch Hard Knocks.
Good. Keep it that way. If you like him, keep it that way.
There was nothing I wanted to do less than watch the Arizona Cardinals in season. It seemed like there was just nothing going on there.
The Last of Us, Secession, Hard Knocks in season with the Cardinals. I mean, those are the power three of 2023, baby.
They're all right up there. Succession says the F-bomb all the time, and Hard Knocks in season makes you say the F-bomb all the time. Saying, why the fuck am I watching this on TV right now? But 2022, 8.2 accuracy rating, number 2, number 3 in true completion percentage, number 6 in catchable pass rate. So he's got the arm talent number. He led the league in money throws in 2021. It's the rushing floor and the fact that you're going to be missing him for a whole year. So at QB5, it's a little tough. I think with some of these trades, you're getting a value in Kyler Murray with that last one we listed, but it does kind of seem like his going rate is a little bit higher than I had imagined. So realistically, I'm listing Kyler Murray, but if I can get him, if I can talk to some managers who have forfeited, and I'm a tanking team in a super flex league, I'm sending some offers for Kyler Murray. I'm seeing what I can get for him. He's got the arm talent. All they have to do is figure out the situation in 2024, and he's pushing to be a top 5 quarterback again. And if he comes back with a stable knee and is able to put up 35 rushing yards a game like he was kind of doing beforehand, then we're sitting here and we're saying that Kyler Murray's fine. He's a top 5 quarterback. So I think there's an argument to be made. I did think we were going to be a little bit more on Kyler Murray as consensus, but love the takes.
All right. One more. We have one more.
We do?
I think so. Darren Waller.
Oh shit, Cody, Darren Waller. It's right there. That's what I get for having my own show sheet. We have a late entry, Matty. Last one. Love him or list him. New York Giants tight end, Darren Waller. We love him or list him.
I think I'm loving just because it's such a shit position. He has done it in the past. There's no one else in that offense. I don't love Darren Waller, but the going rate seems to be pretty cheap. I've seen him go. I was surprised at what he's gone for, so I'm buying because I think it's a cheap chance at maybe a top 10, top 8 tight end. What the fuck just happened, Cody? Did you stick your finger in your microphone wire?
Dog, you think are they not gonna? You got me in a tizzy right now. I thought I was just like, you know, D Wade up to LeBron right here. I thought I was giving you a fucking dunk. I'm looking at the trade finder right now. DJ Moore in a 4th round pick or Darren Waller.
Huh? DJ, what?
Treylon Burks or Darren Waller. 2nd round pick, Darren Waller. 1st round pick and a 3rd round pick, Darren Waller. Like, this is Trey McBride in the 2nd round pick or Darren Waller. Greg Dulcich or Darren Waller in the 3rd. Like, this is the fucking let's go. Ship them out. Let's go.
If
Hurry
that
up,
is the going rate, again, why do you guys keep doing this? Tell me these trades before. If this is the going rate, I am listing him all day long. But those aren't the trades I've been seeing go around for Darren Waller.
Rashad White or Darren Waller.
I'm taking What is this? Who was doing this?
Did you see what I pull my fucking hair out now? Like
that, I could see. Yeah, that is the exact same thing as sticking your finger in the outlet, no doubt.
This segment just changed to flip or flop because the Giants just took they took something with good bones, right? They put it on the Giants roster, and now all of a sudden they're selling this thing for 4 times what they paid for it. I mean, what the hell are these deals? The masses have lost their minds over Darren Waller.
Hey, that's why I put it up there. So obviously, you know, I'm listing it.
If that's the case, I'm listing as well. You said DJ Moore. Holy shit, I'm listing. That's my guy.
It's funny. Yeah. I was going to say Love, too. I was prepared to back up Matty with the Love, and then we started hearing these offers. It's like, no. I would have sold him yesterday if I would have done all this.
Yeah. You know, what's he worth? What do you guys think? Like, is a 2nd round pick fair? Or is that you're listing them all day for that?
No, am I getting a second or am I giving a second?
You're giving a second for Darren
I'd give
Waller.
A 2nd round pick if I'm a contender for Darren Waller.
Okay. Is that a fair price, do you think?
I think so.
Does non-tight end premium change that or in either format?
I think in either format I would do that if I'm contending. Now, again, if I'm looking for value here, if I'm kind of slow playing the season, there are definitely good dart throws in round 2, but trying to get yourself a tight end when you're winning is kind of that cherry on top, and Darren Waller can provide that for sure.
I think I would take a shot, like especially the way these mock drafts are going. I think I would take a shot on one of these tight ends, whichever one goes to the landing spot I like in the 1st round, whether that's. And I know he might not produce right away, but we said the same thing about Freiermuth, and Freiermuth's not bad. And we would take Freiermuth over Waller, right?
100%.
In Dynasty?
I'm a Freiermuth guy. I like Freiermuth.
Yeah, I would too, right? So if you're getting a 2nd round pick, like I'm thinking like early 2nd round in some of these tight end premium rookie drafts is where you're going to be able to just pick off whichever tight end that you want. And if that's the pick I'm getting, I think you could get more than that, though, in like a tight end premium league. I think somebody's going to go off of name value, and these are the moves, guys. These are the moves you make to stay ahead of the curve. And this is a great one to bring up, Cody. That was a good one.
Dude.
So I think because I initially went into this, I saw the name, I was like, oh, that's probably like a good buy, right? That's probably a good buy. But then you see what's going on here, and you're like, what's happened? Like, hold on. And then who's available in the rookie draft, and yeah, and this tight end class is going to be good. So
how confident are you? Like in this confidence, how many of the big 4 tight ends do you think outproduced Darren Waller in 2023?
None.
Well, none in 2023.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm contending. I'm looking at Waller. If I'm slow playing it or I'm looking for the future, I'm 100% with you. I'm trying to ship him away for a 2nd rounder and maybe a little something so that I can grab a Musgrave, I can grab a Kincaid, I can grab kind of the guy that I dubbed my favorite in the 2nd round.
That's a good distinction to make. Yeah.
Doesn't right now feel like you're at like I wouldn't say peak value for Darren, but I feel like you're probably at peak value for what he's going to be. Like, how are they not going to add, what if they fucking draft Quentin Johnston? Whatever, however you feel. What if they draft Cedric? What if they draft, like right now it's Isaiah Hodgins on the outside, so it's perceived that he's going to be used more, maybe at wide receiver. They got all these little dudes. It's like, so what happens when they go out and they literally draft Cedric Tillman in the second and Tank Dell in the fifth? It's like, all right, now there's a bunch of weapons there. They got Daniel Bellinger also that's still there. Like, I
don't know, like, but I don't think I agree with that though, because look at what he did when he came back and he was playing with Devontae Adams. He was tight end 8, tight end 12, tight end 5 over when he came back from injury, so he could perform with guys on the field. He's a good player. He's a good red zone target.
Right, but I think the point more is that he's being valued at his ceiling right now. Like, if Darren Waller goes out there and posts a top 4, top 3, top 1 week 1, does that really change the way that's where he's being valued right now, as a guy who every week can give you that number one overall tight end spot. So it's more of like, there's nothing he can do right now that can raise his value. He has to live up to this expectation or his value is going to start plummeting.
No, that's definitely a good point. Yeah, even if he comes out and has a great week 1, his value is probably going to be the same it is now. So that makes sense. So I guess it's kind of the same thing going back to Jerry Jeudy, where I'm not trying to value does not score you fantasy points. So I'm the guy who tries to get the guy who's going to score me the most fantasy points, and I don't like me and Cody getting the same argument all the time when we're doing our mocks. Like, he loves the fairy dust and the whizzy wazzies and the whoozy wuzzies and the perceived stuff, and I like the bone down,
the warm and fuzzies.
The warm and fuzzy, yeah. Well, warm
like
fuzzies go well. We all like the warm and fuzzies.
I like the brass brush.
Dude, the other day, no side note, Cody, I was telling my wife the other day that you always have, like, when we're texting, you always have hilarious sayings that I then start saying in my everyday life. I forgot what you said the other day, but you had me fucking dying.
I think the one I said today isn't for it's not for radio.
Yeah, that's true.
What's a good Cody for radio saying?
Give me a second. Finish up this Darren Waller. I'll give it for you a second.
Okay, let me do this Darren Waller thing here, and I want to just preface this for people listening or watching, and that we're talking about like these trades and stuff. Like, these aren't in like mom and pop's home league. These aren't in Randy's dynasty league 10 teamers. These are fucking safe leagues, best ball, dynasty, deluxe, Superflex tight end premium, DLF dynasty champion series, Apex amateur dynamic. Like, these are actual known industry. They are a bunch of fans, but it's at least professional leagues where you're seeing Darren go for the 209, Darren go for the 111 and a third next year. Like, 111 this year and a third next year in a Superflex tight end premium. You got me twisted. Like, it's not even close. So I think if you do have Darren Waller and you don't feel like you're in a direct win now championship situation, go make a call.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is the penultimate Darren Waller take. Matty, we have stalled and we are continuing to stall. and I'm just going to shift the pressure to you. We're done stalling. So you better have this.
I can't find it. I've now realized that Cody and I might text too much.
Oh, hold on.
Because I can't find it. I'm scrolling. I can't find it.
Here, how do we want to address this, fellas? Did we ever post we were wrong about Cooper Kupp video? Was that from like 7 years ago?
Were we wrong on Cooper Kupp?
I can't even remember.
I think that was the counselor that was wrong on Cooper Kupp, right? He was the one last year that made a video about Cooper Kupp being hurt, and he said he's the number one, and now he's not the number one because he got hurt and he fucked your fantasy team. No, that was not us. That was the counselor. I don't know what you're talking about. There might have been a video 7 years ago that Steve Smith might have brought back, but that has nothing to do with us. That is, I'm blaming the counselor for all that shit.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
it's 100% the counselor's fault.
It's time. It's that time of the show where we are gonna let you guys plug your stuff and hopefully stall more for Matty Kiwoom to find us saying.
Ain't happening, boys. I ain't gonna be able to find this.
All right, for next time. All right.
Just take my word for it. All
right. I'll try to think of something that Cody might say, and then I'll say that it's a saying of his. So Cody, what do you have to plug these days?
Working on the rookie guide right now, hoping that is completed and launched on Friday. That's the goal. It's been a little of a, as Matty Kiwoom would say, it's a tizzy. It's a little bit of a tizzy to finish out here. And so we're getting there. Comps are rolling in. The Izzy Abanikanda comp should be up sometime soon. And it's not going to be Breece Hall or Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, so there's that. And then my rookie mock draft, the next mock will come out next week after the rookie guide. And then you can find all my stuff at playerprofiler.com in that NFL draft section. Make sure you go check that out because the draft order is there, the mock draft index is there, and all the draft articles that my boy Seth Diewold edits are there, as well as patreon.com/executives. Executives. Yes, that's executives, patreon.com. That's where my boy Matty Kiwoom and I are combining for a show every single week, as well as doing some cornerstone rankings together that looks at the next class. So 2024 with this class and the last class, you can check that out. And you can see that I have Drake May as the third quarterback in those rankings behind T-Law and Justin Fields. And your boy Matty Kiwoom has Caleb Williams as his quarterback 3 behind those 2 guys right there. And those are both dudes not in this class, but in the next class. So patreon.com/executives.
Is that you and Maddie have your own
Correct.
Patreon? Okay.
Correct.
I wanted to clarify that because I know you have your Patreon too.
So I have my Patreon and I combined it this month. 4 days ago, we rebranded, and me and Maddie we can talk about it, but it's we combined this month, and Matty Kiwoom and I are now the executives. That's kind of why it's called the /executive.
So
we're looking at headline WrestleMania next year, the executives.
Yes,
with Pat McAfee. So
which one is
I as a Patreon member have access to now both you and Cody, Maddie and Cody.
Bingo.
2 for the price of 1.
Bingo.
Yes.
How can we? Do you guys have like 1,000 members yet?
Maybe after
We
this
just
show.
rebranded 4 days ago. We just did. I spelled it wrong too. God damn it.
No, it's okay. It's in the check out the comments. Anyway, that's fantastic.
Well, I just want to certainly apologize for the tease because I could not find the text, but maybe I'll share it with them and they can bring it to you next week. But you can find all my stuff at playerprofiler.com, articles that Seth edits, the supermarket article. You can check out the game plan each and every Saturday. Trade Gods with my man Jason Allwine on Thursday nights. Players Lounge comes out once a month, and Cody and I are recording the next couple of episodes next week, baby. So we expect some of that on the horizon. Very, very excited. But that's it. That's pretty much all you can find me. Find me on Twitter at Matty Kiwoom.
For me, you can find me on Twitter at Babich_Matt10. You can find all my articles on my staff page on playerprofiler.com. Most recent one dropped a free agency winners, talked about the 5 teams with the most value-added signings in free agency. Coming up soon, I'll have a article on wide receiver metrics, which pairs pretty nicely with a certain feature drop that Player Profiler dropped yesterday on everyone's heads. The new Data Analysis 2.0 tool. Go check it out. If you're worried about the paywall, just use promo code Seth, and you'll get $10 off. And you pay for it now, you will reap the benefits, but before your draft is even over. So you buy the all-in package. I promise it'll pay off before your draft's even over this summer, and you'll be able to use this freaking amazing Data Analysis 2.0 yet. I haven't talked about it. I'm going to be tweeting about it. In terms of user experience or user interface, the features, the performance, everything is perfect on this thing. So go check it out. It is the best data analysis tool in fantasy football. That is not a plug because I work with Player Profiler. It is just the truth. So give it a look.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, we
can you see that? Can you see
Give
that?
him the heavy.
Take off the overlay.
Gotta take off. There it is. All right, so you see this website here. It's called Player Profiler, and you got all this stuff right here, like that you can subscribe to. Like if you click on this and you're not subscribed to it, like Dynasty Deluxe, DFS Dominator, it'll take you to a page where you can subscribe. So you can do that, including the all-in package, promo code Seth. But what I want to tell you about is definitely don't use promo code Maddie or Aaron. But what I want to tell you about is the news.
Aaron, are you taking shots on that? Oh, he's taking shots on Aaron. I love it.
We were talking pre-show about the diabolical nature of Aaron Stewart. But so news and articles section, right? look at all this stuff here. That like basically like, you know, it's draft. We have studs and duds. We have some new guys here. Emerson Beery, Seth Quinn wrote articles here. So
Dude, who made that badass graphic right there in the middle?
I don't know, some idiot. Yeah, I think that was me. But so anyway, like, so and this by Shervon has got a really cool series called Who Got Next, where he's covering all the wide receivers in the draft. So check this out. This is absolutely free, these articles. So you need to go check that out on playerprofiler.com and give these guys their what are the kids saying these days? Their flowers.
Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Give them their flowers. So
that's what kids are saying? I thought that was like, as a 23-year-old, I thought I was using something that was like my parents talked about.
Yeah, I'm older,
Well,
and I thought that was like our thing.
What do we
I just dated Matty a lot then because he just claimed it for his generation, and I asked it to my parents.
I'm taking it for our generation. I don't know. I'm only 26, so I don't know if I count or whatever. But I credit Fred Taylor for this. Fred Taylor, the running back for Jacksonville Jaguars, he says this a lot on the pivot. He says, "I got to give you my flowers, give you your flowers, et cetera, et cetera." So I don't think that's for the kids. Fuck the kids. This is for the adults.
I'm the elder statesman of this show, and that is not for the kids.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. We'll try to find what is for the kids and what's not for the kids. But you got the derivation of the word flowers tonight. It came from Fred Taylor. So don't say you don't learn anything on the Roundtable, because you do, you liars, if you say that you don't. Anyway, all right. I think that'll do it for us tonight. I can't thank Cody and Matty enough for joining us. It was a lot of fun. And is there any final words of wisdom that you have for the Player Profiler Nation out there before I definitely don't forget to hit the end screen?
Thank you for having us on. Your boy over here, Matty Kiwoom, got them heavies, and he's just bringing the heat every single week with his mid content, trying to defeat me in Mock Draft Live. So come tap into Mock Draft Live as Seth comes on there as well. So you can already hear Matty Kiwoom trying to interrupt me, but I want to give my flowers to Seth and Matt Babich for continuing the Writers Roundtable each and every week. I know my boy Matty Kiwoom wants to jump in here, but there ain't enough time for him to give his spiel. I just appreciate you guys, Seth and Matt. Keep on killing it.
No, we'll talk about this later, Cody. But no, Seth and Matt, the Routers Roundtable is such a fun show to watch each and every week. And when I come on, I mean, I could come on all the time. This is always a blast. You guys are great.
All right. Always welcome. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Seth, I just completely stole the natural transition into the outro here. So go ahead and take it back from me.
I'm just going to stare awkwardly into the camera until I hit the outro.
Hey, you like that video? Be sure to subscribe and activate those alerts so you get notified as soon as new videos drop. And be sure to check out playerprofiler.com. We have all the tools for you to dominate every type of fantasy league. We have a draft kit, Dynasty Deluxe, data analysis, DFS Dominator, and don't forget the player rankings to rule them all.